Today we're going to discuss how to install the liner into an AT400 extension torch. The extension torches can be 6 inches, 12 inches, 24 inches, or 36 inches. They also come with a radial air tube. So if your torch looks a little different, that's because it's just a different model. So to start, what we're going to do is we're going to install the new liner into the cable. We do this from the input end of the casting. We'll thread that all the way through the end until it comes out. Then what we want to do is we want to install it into the wire guide, and it's going to bottom out right about at this point. What's important to notice, and I brought a guide here to help us see it, it threads to about here and then it hits that shoulder wall. We need it to seat up here, so we need it to slip past this angle up to this point. So in order to do that, what we want to do is leave about 2 to 3 inches on this side, and then on the other side we're going to go cut the liner a little bit shorter, not to its final position, but more or less just to put an end cap on here so we can grip the cable and slide that liner forward. So if we go to the other end, I'm going to hold it right here, and then you should watch right about here. You should see it move about 1/2 to 3/4 inch, and it'll bottom out. If it doesn't slip, that means you're still stuck on that shoulder, and you want to make sure you give it a little extra push. Once we have that all the way to the end, we're going to undo the guide on the input end, and then we're going to go back to the torch end and thread the nut onto the torch about 2 to 3 threads. You can see that you're there by just kind of making sure that it doesn't come back out. And then we're going to cut the liner to the proper length. So take the guide, push it to the bottom there, and there's a flat right about 3/4 inch. You can mark that location with your thumb. Using a good tubing cutter, cut the liner. You want a nice, sharp, crisp cut. You don't want to use side cutters, as that'll probably pinch the wire. Once we get it threaded, we start it. If it's a little bit taut, that's okay. You want that tension. I'm going to use a 5/16 inch wrench, and we're going to thread that forward. Make sure it bottoms out, not too snug. And then we're going to snug everything up on the other end using 2 3/4 inch wrenches. Be careful not to run into the other tubes, as you don't want to bend them. Give it a good little snug, and then we'll put everything out. We'll lay it flat, and we'll bring this forward, and that is how you install the liner. You can see that the cable is kind of twisted. That's because that liner inside is kind of under tension, and that tension is important so that the wire can slide smoothly to the tips without kind of stuttering along the liner. That's it.